Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight, and my guest tonight is director and writer Terry L. Jarrell. Did I say your last name right? Jarrell?
That's good enough, Jarrell. I just answered anything, so you're good.
And also the co-director, the beautiful Aimee Rolfsen. Did I say that right?
You nailed it.
All right, that is good. Hey, thanks for coming on tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, it's exciting to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, I just watched Harlows Haunt over the weekend. It was a very interesting film, and boy, the ending was like a what the fuck curveball. And with all the crazy stuff, I felt like I was on an acid trip.
I like that. That's a first, but I dig it.
Yeah, I did. I felt like it was an acid trip. I mean, it was just like something that was like, whoa, you know? It was kind of something like, you know, like watching Nicolas Cage's Mandy or something. It's like, what the fuck did I just watch?
It does kind of leave you in a weird state. I mean, after the end and even, Braille.
And, of course, Braille Babcock. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Hi. I'm so sorry. I had some technical difficulties. My Zoom app was like, oh, all of a sudden you have to update the app to join the Zoom meeting. And I'm like, fabulous. Great. So, but I'm here now. Hello.
Oh my gosh, Braille, you were so cute.
Oh, thank you. Stop it.
No, you stop it. All right. Now, let's get back to business. Yeah, about Harlows Haunt, that was just like a what the fuck ending. And I want to talk about your scream. So how much preparation did you take that, and how many screams did you do just to perfect that?
Well, it all came from the bottom of my heart. But no, yes, but also, I actually warmed up in the car. So something that probably a lot of people watching this film don't know about me is I'm actually an opera singer. I'm classically trained. I got my degree in vocal performance, specializing in classical and opera. So thankfully, I have the knowledge and the skills to not damage any precious cargo. So I actually did warm-ups in the car on my way to location for that shoot day, to sort of prepare myself and not hurt myself and do it in a healthy for what it is, a healthy way. And then as far as actually filming the scene, it was more so like just sort of getting into a mindset of the character and sort of what was to be accomplished with that scene, and sort of putting myself into that situation while also pulling from like personal things and sort of getting like really into like a very specific mindset, and then sort of being able to snap right back out of it, to go back and do it again. And I think, Terry, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we only did like three or four.
I think we did 3. I think we did one without the scream and 2 screams, or 1 scream and 2 without. Somehow it worked out, but the one that is in the movie is the first take, and it because we had some costuming and some kind of changes there. Again, I'm not going to give anything away, but there's something that happens in those final moments that you really kind of need to watch and be keen with. And because remember, we had to do like we kind of shot it backwards, and so yeah, it was a little tangled up that way. But yeah, I mean, we were just talking about how we were all like deaf for 3 days after your scream, and but you just put such energy into that, and everybody did. I mean, the Aimee, Christine, Dylan, Jonathan, everybody was so kind of invested in the moment. From my perspective behind the camera, I was watching everybody's energy feed off of each other, because there was this building tension. I mean, it was like that, you're at top of the roller coaster and it's getting ready to go downhill and there ain't nothing you can do about it. And then it starts down the hill and everybody kind of engaged appropriately at the same time. And then when it led up to the scream, that I'm just hearing back from others, iconic. I mean, these crazy, wow, that's amazing words to be hearing about this couple seconds in the film. So so that's pretty cool. But Aimee was closer, so she probably had more hearing damage.
No, my ears, they really do still ring. So
sorry, Aimee.
No, well,
Aimee and Jonathan, the poor things.
You always want a little tinnitus.
Yeah, I continue tinnitus.
Something to remember me by.
It's what we wanted. We like Terry said, that was the first take. And when Braille came out and did that scream, I was like, okay, this is something. This is really something. This is special.
Yeah, Aimee, you did a pretty good job on the film too. I mean, you just had that great chemistry with the cast in the film. You just made them look like $1 million. I mean, it felt like you guys were like really like childhood friends growing up. Like if this was like real, that's what I got off of your character.
And I love that you say that because, and we talk about this a lot, there really was an amazing chemistry on set, and that's continuous for the cast and the crew. It really was like a family. We started doing Zoom reads, prior to shooting, because even though we shot in Central Florida and we're all Florida-based actors, we're kind of spread out a little bit, like 3 hours this way, 1 hour that way. And so we would hop on Zoom and do our table reads. And then when we finally met in person, we felt like we already knew each other. So we were just excited to work. And then once we hopped into that first scene and we had the energy from each other to feed off of, everything just felt so organic. Terry did an amazing job writing this film. And so to be able to tell this story with people that you really care about, I think that came across. So I love that you bring that up and that you could really see the relationship within the characters, because that's so important when you're telling a story.
I think so too, and that's what I noticed too, and especially the cinematography. I noticed, how the camera would zoom into certain scenes of certain shots of the film, which you can tell, which really also makes the character of the film too. It's like the camera angles, especially when you were inside the haunted attraction. It just felt like I was really walking there with you guys, except for being chained.
That's all Terry. He can tell you all about that, because that was what he wanted. He wanted it to make the viewer feel like that you were right there with us and that you were part of what was going on. Almost like you were seeing something that you shouldn't be seeing. You were right there.
Yes.
That's a good way to put it. I wanted the viewer, the audience, to, I'll go back to that roller coaster thing. You're strapped in, you're going for a ride, and you're not going to jump off this. You're there, and to be confronted with that, and even like the look of the film and everything has this kind of grittiness to it that I really worked hard to sort of fine tune. And literally got months in post involved in that to get it almost detuned in a way, and using colors and the color palettes for the different scenes and all is a pretty instrumental thing too to help be a character in its own.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I noticed the grain color too, and how you mix it with the color and all that. I noticed that. I thought that was kind of clever.
Oh, thanks. I'm up at 2-3 in the morning doing editing, and who knows what kind of craziness is going to whip out of the old brain at that time. But it's cool to go back and look at something and just kind of you kind of know if you've got what you're after, and it really kind of felt that way. And those end scenes where that whole last third of the movie just really accelerates. Yeah. We changed the look quite a bit, and as you said, acid trip.
It was an acid trip, especially when they're, I'm not going to rent for it, but especially when they're walking, through the corridors of the haunted attraction, with all the blurriness, I felt like I was on an acid trip ride, without the 3D glasses, it's like, whoa.
We should do a 3D version.
Oh God.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh my.
Harlow 3D.
That'll be the third. That'll be part 3. So that's Harlow's 3D. 3D.
3D. That's what you
I'm
did
liking
there.
that.
Right. Clever.
And then
always thinking.
Think like that. Think out of the box. Also, you had John Dugan part of the film too, and he was very creepy. He reminded me of one of those creepy old men you see walking down the street when you're a kid.
Dugan, we all love and adore Dugan. I've known him for quite a while, and actually when I wrote the story, the story actually came from bits and pieces of a bunch of different stories I've been writing for years, and just how kind of things start to click together, and then it turns into this thing. But when I was creating Harlow and knowing Dugan, for some reason, he was just in my mind. It was like I was writing this. I could hear his voice saying the lines. I could see him playing the part. And then when we went into casting, and going through some auditions and some casting and all, I just was like, I'm just going to ask him. I mean, the worst he's going to do is laugh at me and call me a few obscene names and hang up and go on. But he was like, well, sure. Give me the dates when we want to do this. And I just fell over. So it was such an honor to have an icon, a big, massive horror icon play the lead role.
I mean, he nailed it to the T. Go ahead.
I kind of lost you there for a second.
No, I just said he nailed it to the T. That was good casting.
He put that role on like a suit of clothes and just killed it. And his scene partner, Crystal Gorski, they, speaking about energy, they just were like this. I mean, they just worked off each other, and those scenes of them in the cabin, those were some really long shots with a lot of dialogue and a pretty big story arc. And it was magic to watch those scenes. And Aimee will tell you, after we called cut, the room was just silent. It was like, good God, where do you go? What do you do with this?
It was emotional, and we had been shooting. We shot that day for 12 hours, and it was hot as shit. I mean, it was the heat index on top of the cabin scenes, and the cabin was very enclosed. And then you have the cast that's in there, and you have the crew that's in there. It was freaking hot. But Dugan powered through it. I mean, he's a lot of fun to be around, and he's so warm and inviting and funny. He tells stories, and you just want to hug him and hang out with him all day. He really is. He's just cool. But then when the camera starts rolling, he's there to work. And so we had been out and doing the heat all day. So it's finally nighttime, and I think we started around 9:30, 10 o'clock, that scene with him and Crystal Gorski, who plays Eldora. And like Terry said, it was one continuous take. And we didn't even want to stop. You just wanted it to keep going. And so that's why it's shot that way, because the chemistry between the two of them was so organic and grounded and gorgeous that I was in the back, holding the slate, what did I just watch? That was amazing. I actually felt emotional. I was just blown away, and yet that was another scene that I witnessed, and I'm like, this is something really special. You could just feel it.
Yeah, I did. I thought they did good, and especially Braille's character too. I was so invested in it. I mean, I felt the motion and everything, how she portrayed that character. I was like, man, I hope she ends up surviving, man. She kind of reminds me of a kick-ass Final Girl. It's like, she made it feel like she was vulnerable, and she was real iffy about, going to that haunted attraction and stuff. And I'm sitting there investing in her character, and I go, well, I hope she gets out of this, and I hope she, starts kicking ass, man.
And she did.
Yeah, she wasn't real happy to have to go to the haunt, but she was a good sport.
Well, what's interesting about her too is the fact that there is something about her that it almost makes it seem like she knows something. Like she knows something is up, whether it's just her being an anxious squish or, you know, her having some kind of intuition as to, you know, what is potentially about to go down, but just not knowing it. And her character is so deep and so interesting that I love just sort of peeling back all her little layers and trying to show that within her character as much as I could throughout the process that her and her friends sort of went through. So it was a challenge, but it was a really good time, and I very much enjoy Christina and all her little layers.
Oh, it seems like you had fun playing her. You can tell you were really having fun playing her. That's what I got the emotion of, yeah. Absolutely.
And yeah, I love that she, as you said, she comes off as sort of this, like, anxious, like, sort of timid, sort of, well, I don't know, you know. But then when it comes down to it, she can hold her own
and she
scream
did.
Bloody murder.
Yeah, she sure did. That scream, I mean, bro, you could dress up as the Black Canary as a cosplay and do the famous canary scream, and boy, the fanboys would be loving that.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd love that. I'll have to put it on my list, and I'll have to make it happen one day.
See, there you go.
Yeah, and what we're talking about earlier is, like, I love the ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but it was just like, whoa, you know? I mean, it was just like, I didn't see that coming, and you know, you thought I was guessing certain things what was going to happen, but when you threw that curveball, you know, it just blew my mind.
the post scream curveball.
Yes.
Or yeah. And that's we're chock full of those kind of surprises. And there's a lot of that kind of stuff throughout the movie. And you know, upon a couple watches, I've had people come back and say, "I watched this movie, you know, X number of times, and I've seen a different movie every time, or I've heard a different thing that made me watch the rest of the movie through different eyes." Or you know, it's got so many textures to it. It's some craziness, and kind of like to speak about Braille's character, Christina. And the layers. She did such a good job showing the restraint of playing that part, because again, she's got things she's got secrets, but she's got things that have happened that aren't necessarily secret, but she just doesn't want to talk about. But they're, you know, it's the elephant in the room type thing, and so she has to sort of dance around that, put on the appropriate face for the moment, whether it's and you can tell how she interacts with other individual characters. She always puts a different facade on for each character, and some she can let her hair down, and some she can't quite. So it's always this trust thing. She's always kind of feathering the pedal throughout the whole thing. For that, I think Braille really did an amazing job with that, and still, but maintaining that same kind of, you know, flavor of the character.
Yeah, she did, and I loved her chemistry between her and Aimee. I mean, her and Aimee had that great chemistry too, how they played off each other, especially when they met up for lunch before, you know, they left, you know, the amusement park to go to the haunt. You can just felt that great chemistry between them two.
Like two old friends getting back together.
Yeah, you can also tell Aimee was having fun too.
Aimee never has fun.
I hate fun.
So Terry, you and Aimee, how'd you guys become co-directors, and how'd you guys get together to create this film? Oh man,
that's a crazy one. Well, I'll hit the high points. I'll let Aimee fill in the gaps. We kind of got together, you know, during initial casting, and Aimee and I were discussing a couple of the roles. She read the story, and I didn't really steer her toward a particular character, even though I had one in mind. And she came back and said, "This is me." I said, "Eureka! Yes, it is." And so after that, we the more time we spent together, the more we talked, we had a lot of alignment in not only the movie, but the film business and experience and things like that. We were just really kind of focused that way. So I just pretty much said, "Hey, I need help." And so I just sort of drafted her in, and it's, as they say, it's the rest is history. And we've just been working together really well since.
Yeah, I honestly, now that I'm looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I've known Terry forever. like we become such good friends, even though we work together, that it just feels like it goes back so much further than it does. So we just have a really good time working together. And like Terry said, we align. We have a lot in common when it comes to creativity, when it comes to our work ethic, when it comes to the execution of what needs to get done when you're talking about producing a film in the indie realm and with horror. So there's so much that we want to accomplish, and we're so driven that everything just fell into place. And so, like Terry said, the rest is history. There's who knows, what we're going to be doing, next. We obviously have, we've begun the outline of Harlows Haunt 2. We are in pre-production because there is so much more of the story that needs to unfold, and so many answers to questions that we've just left open, and we're going to explore that, and who knows what else. We're just going to keep having fun and making movies.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it too. One more question for Braille. With your Scream on the set, did any glass or anything break around the set?
I don't think so. I think
all the windshields in the parking lot.
Yeah, all the car alarms are going off. It's like when a launch happens at the Cape and all the car alarms are going off. It was the same concept. Yeah,
but I think it was just a little bit louder.
It was the pitch. It was that pitch that, I'm surprised it didn't blow out Terry's glasses, honestly.
Shoot, I bet if...
He was close enough. The camera lens gone, done, deceased.
Yeah, I'll never forget that.
I know, you were brave making that one of our first shoot days.
I know. Wasn't that crazy? Blow
out your mics and
yeah. What was that? The second night?
That was the second day of shooting, and we shot those scenes in the haunt. I want to mention some of our locations. We shot all that stuff at the haunt and the Harlows scenes at a real haunted attraction in Plant City, Florida, Sir Henry's Haunted Trail. And it is a real working haunt. It's very popular in Florida, and they could not have been better to us. I mean, they opened us, with open arms. They were excited for us to be shooting there, and super gracious. The owners and all the staff we worked with were amazing, and their sets were incredible. And it just really worked so well, because it was almost like when I was location scouting and I went there to look at one particular set, it was like, wait, it's like, how'd you get a copy of the script and then go build all these things? Because this is exactly what's in the script. It was that crazy. And then like the bar and restaurant stuff and all that was shot at Old Town, which is a pretty popular attraction over by Disney. And yeah, they were really great locations to shoot at. But yeah, that was night number 2. The first 2 nights we had a bunch of extras on set, and people dancing around and all kinds of fun stuff. It was a crazy weekend, and to get that big scene so early on. And again, I'll throw that back to how good the cast was. I mean, they had literally just met less than 48 hours before, face to face, and you can see how that energy just really was so magnetic right off the bat.
So, where can everybody find you guys on social media and check out Harlows Haunt?
We are everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're figuring out all the socials. But we have a pretty active Facebook group. It's Harlows Haunt Movie on Facebook. Every place else is just Harlows Haunt. Pretty easy. And then our website is Black Dog Films with a Z. And we have a Harlows Haunt page there, but it's growing so much because now we have DVDs available. Well, shameless plug. DVD, and we're working on the wider distribution now with our distributor, and so of course that's a process that takes a little bit of time. But for now, we've had so many people wanting to watch. We're on Vimeo on demand, so it's easily found there. And we also have here's my social media ignorance. I put together a link tree, so we've got links to reviews and all kinds of stuff
cool.
there. Blah 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 link tree / Black Dog Films with a Z, and there's all kinds of stuff being added there constantly. So
kind of picking off of Terry, if you go to our Instagram page at Harlows Haunt, the link tree is right there, and it takes you to everything. So that's a great resourceful place to go, and it's easy to find. My personal page, I'm operating mostly off of Instagram, which is my actor's page. It's Aimee.Rolfsen. And I, try to really post a lot of, at this point, behind the scenes. Now that we've wrapped, I really love to go back and just relive, all those days and nights that we shot and share that with the viewers. I think it's really cool and important to let them see that side of what we did. And we're always, updating it with what we have going on. For example, your podcast or, any other thing we have going on, whether it's a con. We have a lot of cons in Central Florida that are coming up. We do MegaCon, Spookeasy, Phantasm, Spooky Empire, and we love to go and just meet whoever is there, interact with the Central Florida people, and we'll be doing some panels and appearances. So definitely make sure that you're checking our pages for those dates and times, because we're going to be out and about just, spreading the word for Harlows Haunt.
And where can everybody find you, Braille?
I'm mostly accessible on Instagram. I have Facebook, but I'm not on Facebook as much. And as far as my Facebook goes, I tend to keep that more for like family, friends, and like any professional contacts that I make along the way. But my Instagram is open, which you will find me at bdazzle20. So that's BDAZZLE20. And I post personal stuff, performance stuff, Harlows Haunt stuff. It's kind of a mixed bag. So it's a wild good time if you want to hop on the ride.
especially when Bro's walking on those stilts, man. She was owning that.
That is also something I do. Yes, I am also a stilt walker. Yes. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
A stilt scene in Harlows too.
Yeah,
so you got me thinking. One thing I forgot to mention, we are working our YouTube channel as well. Mm-hmm. And so we're Harlows Haunt Movie on YouTube. And in our DVD, it's actually a 2-disc set. One, Aimee reminded me when she said behind the scenes. One disc is behind the scenes content, and we just posted that disc. It's available for free on YouTube if anyone wants to go spend about 20 minutes behind the scenes with us, shooting some pretty intense scenes. It's up on there now, so a bunch of cool stuff.
Shoot, maybe you can share the film further out too. Maybe show up to Whorehound or something.
Yeah, we're pushing out in every direction. We're making a lot of noise right now, and we've just been getting some wins from the first film festivals we entered. We've already got 2 Best Horror Film awards, Best Poster, Best Indie Feature, Special Mention Thriller, Special Mention Overall, and what am I forgetting, Aimee?
I think that was it, because there's about 7 of them that came in last week, and they all came in on the same days. We're like, what is going on? All these awards coming in. But it's just cool to see. It's cool to see the response that we're getting. Everybody's loving that third act and the ending. Mm-hmm. And we just wanted to leave you guys hanging so we can continue to tell the story.
We can continue the torture.
Yes.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for coming on out of your busy schedules to have fun with me.
Thank you, Robin. You are a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Soon.
Hey, that's right. I put the FU in fun.
There you go.
All right.
One way to do it.
Hey, that's right.
I love it.
Yeah.
I personally put the fun in funeral, but that's just me.
Okay. And everybody, thank you for listening.
I can't follow that.
Everybody, thank you for listening to Horror Pop After Midnight.